In the official Catholic Church, Saint Eulogius was a priest, scholar, and martyr who lived in 9th century Cordoba, Spain. He lived during the Islamic rule of Al-Andalus. He is celebrated as a leading figure of the Martyrs of Cordoba movement, a period when dozens of Christians deliberately sought martyrdom by publicly denouncing Islam. Eulogius was the intellectual leader, encouraging his fellow Christians and documenting their bravery. Before ultimately being martyred himself, his feast day is celebrated on March 11th. Saint Eulogius became a saint for his heroic courage in defending the Christian faith under Islamic rule, his intellectual leadership, and his ultimate willingness to die rather than deny Christ or compromise his beliefs. Born into a noble Christian family in Cordoba around 800 AD, Eulogius lived in a society where Christians were tolerated. They faced social and legal pressures. But Eulogius became a priest and devoted himself to study and writing, becoming a leading intellectual in the Christian community. In the 850s, Christians began publicly denouncing the Prophet Muhammad, knowing it would lead to execution. Eulogius became their spiritual director and greatest defender. He visited them in prison. He encouraged them to remain steadfast and wrote their stories down in his major work, the Memorial Sanctumi. His writings were not only historical records, but also theological defenses of the martyrs' actions. He argued that they were not committing suicide but were courageously witnessing to the truth of Christ. He was imprisoned for a time for his support of the martyrs but was released. In 859, he sheltered a young Christian woman named Eulogius, who had converted from Islam. When they were discovered, both were arrested. Eulogius was brought before the Islamic judge. He was offered freedom if he would renounce his faith or stop encouraging the martyrs. He refused. On March 11, 859, he was beheaded. He is remembered as the pillar of the martyrs and a doctor of the Mozarabic Church. His writings provide an invaluable first-hand account of Christian life under Islamic rule in medieval Spain. His appearance is based on artistic imagination and cultural context. As a Mozarabic priest, he is typically shown as a middle-aged or elderly man with a dignified, intellectual appearance. He is often depicted with a beard, following the style of learned men and clergy of his era. He would have worn the simple clerical attire of a 9th century Mozarabic priest in some depictions. He is shown with the distinctive tonsure that marked the cleric. Attributes include a palm frond, the universal symbol of martyrdom, representing his victory through death, a sword representing the manner of his execution, death by beheading, a book or quill, symbolizing his role as a writer, historian, and intellectual defender of the faith, a martyr's crown, sometimes shown being offered to him by angels or descending from heaven, a prison chain, occasionally shown, representing his imprisonment for the faith before his final martyrdom. The image of Saint Eulogius is that of a learned, courageous, and deeply faithful priest, whose pen was as mighty as his witness, and whose writings preserve the memory of those who died for Christ in Islamic Spain.